The room, boom, shake, shake, shake the room, boom, shake, shake, shake the room, shake, 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 boom. That's the one. That's the one. We got it. It's up and running. Oof. It's a bit. That's a bit spicy on the volume, isn't it? Let's de-spice a little. All right. Oh. Okay, good. You guys about ready? Oh, this is good. This is good. I see we've got some friends already jumping in here. Y'all are ready. Hi. Johnny, you're on the ball today. Oh, what's up, Sierra? Oh, look at you. You're puking money. You should see a doctor about that, buddy. All right. So we already have a good crowd going, so I'm going to go ahead and turn you down, and I'm going to go ahead and jump straight into it. What's up, boys? What's up? Welcome to the very best part of your week. It is called Live with Jack. Hi, I'm Jack. This is Live with Jack number 124, if you're keeping count, and we do. And today is going to be a really fun one. This is going to be a little bit different because instead of me talking about my experiences or different things that I've done or ways that you can live your life in a way that's going to be more effective for you based on things that I've already done, instead, I'm answering a question playing a purely hypothetical game. And you're going to learn a lot more about that, and you're going to find out my ideas, my way of thinking, and how it could potentially completely change and revolutionize your dating life. But before we get into any of that, if you would like to truly experience today's lesson, if you would like to really live it up, if you want to reach that tippy top, that height of humanity, that culmination of all of civilization, all you need to do, you already know, don't you? All you need to do is grab your glass, your mug, or your flask, a chalice, a stein, or even a cask. Raise it high. Let's make a splash. It's time now for our libation bash. Toast the night and enjoy the mood. Together now, we drink some booze. On your mark, let's not wait. It's cheers with chaps, so don't be late. Cheers. Oh my God, it's so much better than that Budweiser last week. That was still stuck in my mouth with how bad that was. Okay, good. Now, let's go ahead and jump into today's lesson. So, what I told you earlier is that today is going to be a little bit different because instead of talking about my experiences or things that I've done before, instead, we're going to talk hypothetically. I had a guy message me earlier this week from inside of our Discord community. And he asked me, Jack, I hate doing approaches. How can I make it more fun? How can I learn to like it? And that's a really good question. The easy answer from my point of view is, well, you don't like it because you suck at it. So you need to suck at it a bit so that you can get better at it, and then you will hate doing it less, and you'll eventually get good at it, so you'll actually enjoy doing it. And that's true, but what a shitty answer, right? Like, how do I hate this thing less? That's the fun thing. You don't. You just keep hating it and do it anyway, right? No, that's not a very effective solution, at least not the standards that I hold myself to as a coach. That is unacceptable. So instead, I told him, well, we can try to create a gamified system to make it fun, to make it feel like a game. So yeah, we talk about game as in like going out to talk to women and to meet women. But what if we actually turned it into a game, like a video game or like a board game? What if we made game into its own game? So that's what I sat down and I decided to try to do, to come up with a way to make approaching really, really fun, to make it so fun that even if you hate doing it, you can convince yourself to like doing it. You can make yourself enjoy it. All right, cool. So let's get into how I conceived of doing this thing. First of all, None of this is set in stone. That's the first thing that I need to say. Yeah, Elden Ring. Sabi, listen, no joke. No joke. If you want to turn your dating life into Elden Ring, I mean, you have no maidens. So that it kind of checks out, right? So maybe you need to actually get yourself some maidens. And this could be one way to do it. Listen, no joke. If you start viewing the dating landscape as the Shattered Lands, and you look down into the fucking swamp and you're like, oh, that's Tinder. Yeah, like turn it into that thing and it will actually become way more fun and way more interesting to you. So what I was going to say is none of this is set in stone. These are all just ideas. These are conceptual things that you can use and you can add to, or you can drop some parts, or you can change them around however you want. You want to turn it into League of Legends? Absolutely. Listen, just however you can best conceive of it that turns it into something fun, right? So the first thing you need to know before you even start thinking like, oh, I want to make it like this thing, or I want to make it like this, because all of this is going to have actual real world goals and purposes. So the first thing you need to know is figure out what's your end game. What is the actual goal? Once I become an expert at this thing, what does that look like? Now, in video games, we usually that end goal is very, very clear. Where it's like in Mario, it's like save the princess, or in an RPG, it's usually either save the world or kill God to save the world. And usually even save the world turns into, but by the way, while you're there, go ahead and kill God. Because it's RPGs, and hey, that's what they do. Whatever the end game is for you, whether that means you want to be so good at it that you can run daily raids, which would be the equivalent of like going out on the street, doing 20 approaches, collecting 7 numbers a day, no sweat, right? If that's what your end game raid looks like, that's what your end state looks like, then okay, cool. Or maybe your end state is getting so good at it that you can basically get girls on command, so now you don't have to anymore, right? Where you're that old guy who's already beaten all the content, and so he just logs in like whenever he feels like it, and whenever he does, he just can steamroll everything without even trying, right? Maybe that's what your end state looks like. Maybe it's a little bit more relaxed. That's fine. Whatever you want your end state to be is totally fine. However, you do need to define what it actually looks like, because you're going to design and optimize for that end state and for the specific outcomes that you want to achieve along the way. So let me clarify a little bit more. If the outcome you want to achieve is become more social or more outgoing, that is not an outcome that I need to optimize for, because this creature does not need any more outgoingness or socialization. That's not what I need. So that's not what I would have to optimize for. That's not the outcome that I would be looking to achieve. Now, I might be looking to kind of clean up my speech patterns and clean up the way that I run game. That could be one of my ideal outcomes. But for you, they're going to be completely different. So you want to be thinking about what are the ideal outcomes, the pieces that, when put together, create your end state. Because this is going to help you. We have to answer these questions so that we can actually create the pieces of it down here, right? So that we can design the system. We need to figure out, what are we optimizing for? Because a system that optimizes for getting numbers on street game is not the same system that optimizes for one night stands from the nightclub, is not the same system as a system that optimizes for ignoring everybody else, filtering everybody else out, and looking only for the one best girl, or whatever it is you want your system to optimize for. You have to plan for that, because your system cannot optimize for all the things. It will suffer in other aspects. And if you try to optimize for everything, you will fail. It's just the same as in any game. If you try to be a generalist, you suck at everything, right? Because, you're like, oh, well, I can do a little bit of this and I can do a little bit of that and I can do a little bit of that, but I'm not really very good at any single thing. And that's why it's important to figure out what you want to optimize for. What end state do you want to optimize for? And what outcomes along the way do you want to optimize for? Then, once you know end state, you know the pieces of the end state, right? Like, essentially, your pieces of the Triforce. What are you going to put together that creates the final package? Cool. Now, there are milestones each step of the way leading to each one of those things, right? So if the outcome you want to optimize for is being more sociable and talking to more people all the time, cool. Then set yourself some milestones. Say something like, I want to talk to one new person every day for a week straight. That's a milestone. It is. I want to talk to 20 new people in a day. That's a milestone. I want to get 10 numbers in a day from anybody. Okay, that's a milestone. I want to talk to 50 new people in one single day. That's a milestone. Set yourself some milestones, some things to aim for along the way. Oh, and by the way, you can't do this just verbally, right? Like, you'll need to actually probably sit down with a pen and notebook and think about all this stuff. If that sounds annoying, if that sounds like too much work for you, then either one, you don't need this system, or two, you don't actually want the results. You just think that you want the results, but if you're not willing to do a thing to make the results happen, then you don't actually want the results, right? You just feel better saying that you want the results, and that's it, right? That would be like if I came onto this live stream every single day and I told you, I want to lose weight and look fit. I really, really want to. I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm going to keep looking the way that I do. I'm going to keep drinking beer on the stream the whole time, right? Like, I'm not making any changes. I'm just going to say that I want it. So if that's you, then, hey, I guess you're welcome to watch the video. Maybe hit the thumbs up button while you're here, because that's about all that this is going to be good for you. It's just entertainment. You can watch me get drunk and talk about this stuff, but it's a choice, and you can make that change right now. You can choose to start implementing some of this stuff. A notebook costs you $2. Pen costs you 50 cents. So for $2.50 and about 30 minutes worth of effort, you can actually start improving your dating life. It's a great idea. So, milestones, all that fun stuff. Now, next, let's actually design your system. Cool. Good news is, we're going to get to this in a minute, but there are actually apps that are going to help you do this thing. But first, I want you to kind of conceptualize it in your head in a way that makes sense for you. Now, this is where the fun part comes in. This is where, Sierra, you get to design your system to be as League of Legends as you fucking want. And Sabi, you get to design it to be as Elden Ring as you want. And Paul, you can design yours to just be Diablo 4, which means you never, ever, ever want to touch it ever again. Hey, that's funny, right? Yeah, yeah, I saw him laugh at it. Oh, okay, but in all seriousness, for designing your system, the first thing and the most important thing for this whole thing to even matter is that you want to create yourself some kind of meaningful point system. When I do this thing, I get points, or I get experience. I get better at doing a thing. And here's the fun thing is, when you do these activities, no matter what they are, right? Because again, the activities you choose are going to be designed around your ideal outcomes and milestones. So if your ideal outcome is talk to more people, then every time I talk to a person, I get 1 point. Every time hold on a second, y'all. This is critical. This is so important. Wait. Oh, mosquito. Ah! Did I get him? I failed. There you are. Hold on. I'm sorry. I realize that this is very poor etiquette, but I hate mosquitoes. Great success. Okay. I feel better now. Thank you for your patience. So, what was I saying before I got distracted by insect murder? Meaningful point system, right? So if you create something that's like, when I talk to a person, I get 1 point. Whenever I exchange names, I get 2 points. Whenever I get a phone number, I get 5 points. Whenever I get a phone number that then she messages me back on the same day, it turns into 10 points. And it can kind of scaffold up, make a point system that actually makes sense to you and that moves you towards your milestones and ideal outcomes. But it needs to be a point system that is meaningful to you, because if it's just points out in the ether, right? If it's like whose line is it anyway points, where like points don't matter, actually you get 16 million or whatever, then it holds no value, and you're not going to be incentivized to do the thing. You want to give yourself points for things, and we're going to get into like the reward system a little bit later and how to actually build that out. But you want to give yourself some points that actually matter to you and that move you down the milestone pathway towards different levels and certain types of progression. So you want to literally level up. And the cool thing about this is that whenever you're doing these actions, you actually are gaining the real world equivalent of experience points. We just don't have a bar over your head that's showing it. That's the only difference between real world and video game world, is we don't have a bar showing us that we're making progress. But you are, because every time that you do an action, no matter how big or small, you are getting better at that action every single time. And it doesn't matter what you think, even if you think like, oh, I'm already really good at this action, the more you do that thing, the better you will get at it. Here's a fun story that I heard just the other day. I think I heard it maybe from Hormozy, and he was talking about a university class, a pottery class, where the professor had two groups of people. And for one group, Group A, he told them, by the end of the semester, by the end of the term, whatever it was, you have to make the best pot you possibly can. That's it. Nothing else matters. I do not care about anything else. Just the one pot. That's it. You will only have one assignment for the entire term, and it is to make the very best pot by the end of the term. To Group B, he said, I do not care about quality whatsoever. I simply want you to make the most number of pots that you possibly can. It must be solid, it must be able to hold water, and it must be round. Those are the only requirements. Nothing else matters. Do that. Ready, go. And by the end of the term, you would think that the ones who were focused on quality would have made a better pot. But in fact, they did not. Because the group that iterated again and again and again, the group that gained experience points throughout the entire term, basically, for lack of a better word, who just made shitty pots, shitty pot, right? Again, they actually made more pots and better pots by the end of the term than the ones who only focus on quality. Why? Because they got the experience points. They did the things. They did the actions. So all of that was to help reiterate the fact that the points actually are real. You do gain experience by doing the actions, and you are actually leveling up and progressing. You just need to make the bar so that you can actually see it. And whenever you figure out what you want your levels to look like, maybe you want to design it like League of Legends, where like every time I go out, I start at level 1, and I have to gain levels, and I have to do actions to gain the ability to do more things, to then level up as I go every single time. And then every single time I start back over at nothing, right? Maybe you want to design it like that. That could actually be a really fun and engaging system. Might be a little bit exhausting, but it could be very fun. Or maybe you want to design it with a little bit more of a long-term thing in mind, right? Like Sabi mentioned Elden Ring. Maybe you want to design it more as like, as I do these actions, I gain souls. I forget what they were called in Elden Ring. Were they called souls? Maybe. Where you gain the souls and then you can spend them to level up and increase the stats that you want, right? And you can literally tell yourself, I am increasing my charisma stat right now. I am increasing my intelligence stat. I am increasing my ability to whatever, right? Or maybe you want to do it like Skyrim and you say, like, oh, my speech ability is going up. Oh, my mercantile ability is going up. You can actually dictate what skills are going up in your mind, and through your actions, they will actually become true. That will become the reality as you focus on those things. So create yourself some levels and some progression system that actually makes sense to you. Now, the next one. This one is my favorite, is bosses, challenges, and quests. So this should be directly related to your milestones, which are also directly related to your outcomes, right? This is focused on the outcomes. This is focused on the milestones, which are focused on the outcomes. So you create yourself a set of bosses, of challenges, of quests, of things that you need to do, things that you need to complete. Maybe these are timed quests. Maybe the boss is like, I have to go on a date with a girl and never say the word or like, or whatever else. Whatever you are trying to conquer at the time, make that your boss, right? And I mean this seriously. Literally view it as a boss battle. Prepare for it like you would for a boss battle, because it is one. And when you're able to conquer that, when you're able to go through that whole thing, when you're able to go on a date for an hour, for 2 hours, and never use a vocal pause, oh my God, you're going to feel like a hero. And then all of a sudden, you will have literally leveled up your speech ability so much that you'll hear other people around you using those words all the time and say, noobs. And you will actually have this experience. I'm not even joking. You will level up and you will notice that other people are noobs at things that they don't even realize that they aren't good at. They don't even realize that it's a skill, because that's how far ahead of them you are, just by spending about an hour with a pen and paper. So this is actually a pretty decent use of your time if you're trying to improve on these skills. And to be honest, you can use this same setup for anything. Like if I genuinely wanted to, I hate fitness, but I want to really make myself like it, I could create this same system for fitness and for working out. And it would be a lot of fun. It would be very effective. So you can use this for anything. You can use this for studying. You can use this for learning Korean. For those of you out there who are like, fuck, I need to practice and I need to study it, but I just don't really want to. Like, okay, cool. Turn it into a game. Turn it into a thing. Finally, this last one here. This one's interesting. Leaderboards and competition. This will always work better if you can do it with people, because we drive each other to improve the more you do it together with people. That's actually one of the reasons why our Discord community is so incredibly effective and helpful, is because the guys who are in there then push each other to improve and get better. And the guys who are in there call you out when you fucking lie, and it's very obvious to everybody that you're lying when you say something like, oh yeah, I have a date lined up every single night for the next 4 weeks straight, and the whole chat is calling you out saying, no, you fucking don't. They're going to call you out because, again, the social element of it is actually really effective, because it helps you to see, like, all right, cool, this guy's doing really well with this thing. Maybe I can get some advice from him. He can help me out. He can be my mentor, my trainer. Right? I can buy 5 levels of archery from him if I, study with him, or if I ask him these questions or whatever. And you can use the other people in the community to raise your stats, to improve on the things that you don't know. But also you can use them for accountability, for growing your skill set. I'm glad you got that. You got that reference, JJ. I see you there. It's okay. I don't think he watches. He never pays attention. He doesn't need it, apparently. Oh, I'm choking on my own jokes. So, leaderboards and competition, if you can create competitions, especially if you can use this for like different challenges, and say like, all right, cool, if we're both trying to achieve this thing, who can get there first? Or who can get there, if we're trying to like get numbers, then who can get there first? Well, that doesn't really matter. But who can get there the most times in one night, or who can get the most numbers in 1 week, or who can, whatever else. Create challenges for yourself, for your friends, or if you don't have anybody that you're doing this with, you can create challenges for yourself and just literally trying to beat your personal best, right? People do this all the time in everything, so why not here? Of course, you absolutely can, and you should, because these things are going to help to keep you motivated to move forward and to keep on improving these skills. Yes, and you're exactly right, Sabi. Do not approach the succubus. But to not approach the succubus, you need to first learn who the succubus is. And unless you have read on thesoulplayer.com, you've read the 14 types, or you have gone through the video course, most people aren't going to know the succubus. And that's honestly sucks for them. But it's totally free on thesoulplayer.com on the blog. You can read all about it. You can learn 14 types. Most people won't. Oh, that reminds me, actually, this is a good halfway point. Nice little spot. If you're finding any of this useful, helpful, entertaining, interesting, anything whatsoever, please drop a thumbs up on the video. It really does help a lot. And as a special thank you, I have prepared a completely free training guide that I've put together for you guys that is literally the entire blueprint for how I coach my one-on-one clients. I teach you everything that we do from start to finish, everything that we make, everything that I do with them, the entire process, how long it takes, all of that stuff. And you can learn all of that in under half an hour completely for free by clicking the link at the top of the description below right now. It doesn't cost you a dime. There's no credit card. There's no trial. There's no like course attached to it or anything. It's just completely free value so that you can see exactly what I teach and exactly why it's so ridiculously effective. So click the link at the top of the description below, get the free dating blueprint, learn exactly what you have to do to get whatever relationship it is that you want in 8 weeks or less. Now, let's get back to gamifying your game. So next is implementation and tracking. We can use apps for this. Now, the app that I have used for gamifying things before in the past is called Habitica, like habit, but then ICA at the end, Habitica. And it's really fun. It's really useful. It helps to create and ingrain these habits, which we're going to get into a little bit more down here. But most importantly, it helps you to design your own system that's going to work best for you. Now, there are different gamified app systems out there, but most of them are specific to a type of game or to a specific goal. Like there are gamified fitness programs and stuff like that. To the best of my knowledge, there is no gamified way of getting your dick wet yet. Maybe, Paul, maybe that's the next stupid app idea I come up with. But Habitica will let you program your own thing and your own goals and your own levels and points and whatever else in there. And it'll help you to track it too. So it's actually really useful for the tracking side of things, especially because trying to track all of that with pen and paper is going to be a huge pain in the ass. But if you can do it by a click in the app, it makes it so much easier. The next thing that you should do is you should give yourself bonuses for streaks and consistency. Now, again, just like with all the other stuff, you have to design what those are from the get-go so that it actually makes sense and so that you don't just say like, fuck it, I've been doing it for 7 days straight and give me 10,000 points or whatever, right? Make it something that actually makes sense, that's part of your design, but give yourself bonuses for streaks and be honest about it, be real about it, because again, you're going to level up faster. And streaks are actually really important, especially for practicing skills like this, because if you practice once a week, you will not get the same amount of iteration and the same amount of feedback that you will if you practice every single day. And even more if you practice multiple times a day, right? So honestly, streaks and consistency genuinely do give you real life bonuses to your experience points. So pay attention to those, build those into your tracking system as well. This next one is very fun. I like this one a lot. Achievements. You should absolutely build these achievements in with your milestones and have fun with them. Listen, give your achievements names, make them cool, make them funny, make them clever, put them into the community, make it something that you're actually enjoying, something that you're looking forward to getting, something that you're like, yeah, listen, when I knock this out, I'm going to be actually proud of myself and my accomplishment and what I've done. Make your achievements fun. Make them really cool because you're going to have a lot more fun. Again, it's going to help you with your motivation to actually do it. It's going to help you with your consistency whenever it's something like, you know, do an approach for 100 days in a row or whatever it is. Or like create the marathon achievement, which is like, I have literally walked a full marathon while out doing street game, right? Because you could use your your pedometer on your phone to actually track how much you've walked whenever you go out to do game. And like the marathon achievement would be a great achievement because if you've actually walked that, what is it? It's like 29 miles or something like that. I don't know. Do I look like a person who knows fucking anything about marathons? No. All right, cool. Next, regular review and reflection. Actually sit down, maybe once a week, once every couple of weeks and see like, awesome. Is this still working for me? Are these points still motivating me like they did before? Are the achievements and the milestones, do they still make sense? Am I making good progress towards them? How does it feel? How does it feel compared to when I first started, right? How was I then and how am I now? And by the way, here's a fun little pro tip, a thing that you can do that's actually going to help you a lot if you're not good at noticing your own experience bar, if you're not good at noticing your own progress, which like personally, I'm not good at this. So one of the things you can do is each week you can make a short little an audio recording, or you can write it as a journal, or you can make a video for yourself or whatever. And this isn't public. This is just for you of like, cool. So this week I did these things. I'm feeling like this. This is the result that I got. This is what I'm feeling. I improved at. This is what I'm feeling. I'm stalling out at, or whatever else. And then whenever you check on that later, even just like 2 weeks later, you're going to see, and you're like, oh shit, I was still stuck on that. Man, I cleared that one like nothing. Now I don't even have to worry about that. And you actually start to see your own level ups in reality. Because while the game is fun and we can put it all in the app and we can track it and level up and have achievements and all that fun stuff, it is so much more rewarding to actually see it in action, in reality of this is a thing that I could not do 2 weeks ago that now I find so easy that I can do it like that. And that's what you're actually aiming for here. Is that is your milestones. That is your level ups. That is exactly what it is. Same as in a game where you struggle on this boss forever. But then if you come back 5 levels later, that boss will be a total pushover, right? Same thing. You should get that actual sense of progression and growth and progress. So the review and refraction, that's not, is that even a word? It might be. I know refraction is, but the review and refraction, I'm so wrong, and reflection phase are going to be very important for you. Finally, last section, rewards, longevity, and end game. Cool, you're getting there. You're getting there. How do you get there? This is where we get into the fun stuff. Actually create some fun and tangible rewards for yourself. Now, this could be things like creating a fucking badge for an achievement that you did. Like have something printed if you want, right? Have little like trophies made if you want. Create fun and tangible rewards, physical things that you can actually see that feel real to help tie the habits and the level ups and all that stuff into reality so that you can really, really feel it. And this is an important thing with these rewards. It should be something extra, something that you don't normally have or do. Now, some people talk about rewarding yourself with things that you like, and I kind of get that, but to do that, you have to take those things away first. And I'm not a big fan of that part, because then you're going to kind of resent the system as like, wait, this thing is the reason that I can't play Elden Ring when I really want to. This thing is the reason that I can't sit down and play LOL. And so I have to go out and do this shit before I'm allowed to do, by my own rules, right? And before I'm allowed to do the thing that I actually want to do. I'm not a fan of that. I don't like the idea of taking away things that you enjoy doing so that you can give them back to yourself. Instead, I like the idea of adding completely new rewards on, things that did not exist before. And these don't have to be unhealthy or weird rewards. You don't have to reward yourself with okay, cool, awesome, you did 50 approaches, great. Now you don't have to approach it all for a week. No, that's the opposite of winning here. Instead, create something new. So like I said, have some trophies printed for yourself, or have a fucking t-shirt made, or have man, get yourself a little like a Boy Scout patch sash, and then like just get little patches printed for each one of your achievements that you hit, and go to town with it. Have a good time with it. It doesn't matter. You can be as dorky, as weird as you want. Who cares what anybody else thinks, man? Have a good time with it. And things like that, like, I know the idea of like, oh, having patches made or having t-shirts made. It might sound like it costs money. It's way cheaper than you would expect. Like, I got this shirt made, and I think the total cost was like $20, right? That's basically the cost of just the t-shirt by itself. And then, I don't know, maybe 10 cents to print the stuff on. You would be surprised at how cheap it is to get things made, to get things custom made. And so if you want to get some badges or some patches made or some t-shirts made or some little trophies made or things like that, you can probably get it done for way cheaper than you're expecting. Come up with some cool rewards, though, things that you like. Now, the next thing here, habits create longevity. So if you can build in the habit of doing the thing, then it will create longevity. So, for example, the habit of every time I see somebody who I find attractive, I go up and I start a conversation with them. Or every time I see somebody at all, every time I see somebody who's alone, I go up and I have a conversation with them. Or every day that I go out, I have a conversation with at least 7 people. Or whatever it is. Creating some kind of habit like that actually helps you to create longevity, which is what you actually want. Because that's, remember, actually your end game, your actual end state is not to be able to stop doing the thing. It's to be so good that you enjoy doing the thing, right? That you can do it anytime. And in order to do that, we want to create longevity. So you create habits to create longevity. Now here's where it gets really fun. Habit stacking creates consistency because you already have habits. And then if you can stack those habits upon one another, then it will be consistent and you can do it for a long period of time. So if I have a habit already of getting coffee every day after lunch, I go to a cafe, I get a coffee every day after lunch. Okay, cool. That's my habit. Now, I want to stack a new habit on top of that so that I don't have to create a whole new habit set. I can just stack one on top of this. Say every time I go to get a coffee, I'm going to say hi to whoever is in the coffee shop, at least one person in the coffee shop. That is my new habit that I'm adding to the coffee shop habit. This is habit stacking. This is what's going to create consistency because your first habit already has longevity and consistency because you already like doing that thing and it has no willpower cost, right? Just going to get a coffee, right? So and that already has longevity and consistency. Neat. Now you just add this one on to it because you already have the habit. You've already been talking to people. Now you add this one on and now you have longevity and consistency for both habits. And now your coffee habit is actually much more useful to you. Final thing here is accountability buddies. Accountability buddies, this goes back to what I was saying before about making it a community thing, making it a group thing. Sharing this with other people is going to make it much more effective and it's going to make it actually last longer. It's going to help you reach the end state. It's going to help you stay motivated. It's going to help you stay interested in achieving these goals. If you cannot create a community effect or a network effect around it, that's okay. You just need to find someone who cares, someone who's going to be your accountability buddy, who's going to talk with you maybe like once a week, once every 2 weeks, and just have a quick chat, just like 30-minute chat. Be like, cool, how is everything going? How are the approaches going? How much experience did you get this week? How many levels did you get? What milestones did you hit? What are you working on next? That's it. Just somebody who's going to check in with you and make sure that you're actually doing this stuff, that you're moving it forward. And if you're having trouble, who hopefully can help you to get over those hurdles. Now, if you do not have anybody, you don't have an accountability buddy, and you can't, for some reason, find someone inside of our Discord community, you're welcome to sign up for a free call with me, and I can see if I can help you with that, help you either find somebody, or if I can be your personal accountability buddy if you need my help with that as well. So hit me up, and you can find the links to all that stuff. You can find the Discord community on thesoulplayer.com. You can find the call links, actually, at realjacknorth.com. You can go there, and there, along with the free training, you can find call signups there. You can get direct access to me. All you got to do, You just click the button and you set up a call with me. Again, it doesn't cost you anything. Not trying to trick you or anything. It's just a free call with me, and it's there for you. Totally free value. All you got to do, though, is do the thing. Or not, right? So I hope that you've enjoyed this. I hope that you found it useful or at least entertaining, because I know that for me, it was a really interesting thought experiment to work through. And if you guys have questions or ideas or anything like this, be sure to send them my way, because I like to take these ideas and turn them into live stream topics. Or if they're kind of smaller ideas and smaller questions, I can answer them on our new almost daily live stream that I'm running every single day on Instagram called Dating While Driving, where I just turn on Instagram Live and I answer a question every day while I'm just driving into the office. So you have topic ideas, you have questions, you have comments, you have some weird shit that you just want to see me talk about while I'm driving, whatever it is, send it to me in either Discord, or you can send it to me on Instagram via DM at Coach Jack North, and I will talk to you there. So, without further ado, first of all, I have to say goodbye to these motherfuckers who are getting recorded because they don't get to come with us for the Q&A. Sorry, suckers. If you want to see the Q&A, you've got to watch live on YouTube with all the other cool cats and kittens. Later. And for you guys, oh, shit. I hit the wrong button. And for you guys, we're going to go ahead and move over into the Q&A. So, Paul, you want to go ahead and jump in?
Yeah.
How are you doing, big guy?
Doing great. It's been a good week.
I hear that. I hear that. Oh, this fan is going to be critical. Oh, open the door. Get some fresh air. Okay. So, it's just me and you today. Awesome.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Let's jump into it then. Well, it's me and you. Plus, we got some friends up here in the live chat.
Always. So the first question here. The first question today is there ever a scenario where getting a girl's Instagram is better than getting her phone number?
Is there ever a scenario? There is, I'm sure, but I cannot imagine what it is.
One came to mind for me is after you've met on a one night stand and you don't want to see her again.
Then why give her anything?
Right, but like some girls can be very naggy about these things, so just to get it out of the way, it's easier to just give the Instagram and just remove her when you're done.
I suppose so. Yeah, that's fine. I think that, there might be an argument for it if you're. Hold on a second. Let me adjust this over a little bit. There we go. All right. If you're in a situation where where the Instagram actually raises your social status profile by her having seen it. So like if you have an Instagram with 60,000 followers or something, and like they're actual followers, then giving her your Instagram might be useful, especially if you are looking for kind of any leg up, right? Like if you're not particularly attractive and you don't really have very good game, and you're like, yeah, but maybe you'll kind of like the fact that I'm a little bit famous. You could technically use it as a crutch. I really wouldn't recommend it. But
I think the only time I kind of agree there, like the only time it gives you a leg up is if you're actually a kind of successful content creator.
Yeah.
Like then it's actually good.
But even then.
But I would still get the phone number on the side.
Exactly. Like that's exactly what I was about to say. Is I was going to say, even then, like if a girl asked for my Instagram and I wanted to show her, like, I have a really big following and a lot of people know and like me, then I would give her my Instagram and then I would immediately follow it up. Like once she saw that with, but I don't want you to get lost in the sea of DMs. So let me get your actual number.
Yeah, or like use it to leverage the number. Yeah, sure, you can get my Instagram, but then I'll get your phone number, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like I would, even in those situations, the number is still the best move. It always will be. It always will be. There is, I genuinely cannot think of a situation at all in which getting just the Instagram is better than getting the number. I can't think of one. Anyway, so that's the answer to the question. Is like no, no, there really isn't.
Yeah. I
Let's
think
go
we
on to huh.
Yeah, then we can go on to the next one, which is how does dating a very intelligent girl differ from dating maybe just a regular girl? Example, dating a neuroscience major going to Seoul National versus a work who works as a baker full time.
You wanna field this one first?
Well, yeah, in my experience, those are two different worlds. Uh, in the first scenario, you are gonna have to be very confident in yourself because a girl like that is going to challenge you in every way, and she is not going to be necessarily as supportive to you because she's busy doing her own things, as well as she might make you feel less worthy because you are now competing with her main priority, which is her career. Like, you will never be the top priority for a girl like that.
That's absolutely true. With a worker bee, you will never be top priority ever. You will always be secondary to the job, to the career, to even like, oh, I know that we said we were going to have dinner tonight, but we're having dinner with my coworkers, and I can't miss that. Like, you'll always be secondary to the job, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Um, Depending on what it is that you're looking for. Like personally, I love worker bees because they're very low maintenance for me. Like we can both just independently do our own thing all the time. And then whenever we both have free time, it's like, oh hey, that's great. Let's do something. Right.
Mhm.
But as far as
I
like the
I think the second thing there is there are two types of worker bees, right? Like, you have the super intellectual ones, and then you have the regular office worker bees.
mm,
And I think once you go over to the like super intellects, then you very quickly are at risk of getting a inferiority complex because she is gonna try to give you one.
yeah, she will. That is the intelligent people's shit test is you aren't smart enough to keep up with me.
Yeah.
That's their shit test. And that's their shit test every time. Because that's how the world of intelligentsia functions. That's how they talk and that's how they compete, for lack of a better word, is who knows more obscure references about this thing, who can keep up in a wider variety of discussions about this general topic. And it could be literally anything, and you have to be prepared for it at all time. It's literally like playing a game of Trivial Pursuit, but nonstop.
Yeah.
To be entirely honest, I don't recommend it. Like it's exhausting, it's tiring, unless that is a thing that you really, really, really want to be a part of for your own reasons, as in that is a world that you want to live in independently of her. And you have just unshakable, unflappable levels of confidence in yourself. You have to have both in order to date a highly intellectual girl. Now that we're using the word intellectual separately from smart, because smart people don't have to fucking prove that they're smart. Intellectuals are the dorks who do. So
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
yeah, I honestly cannot recommend dating into that world, but there are people who enjoy it, right? There are people who enjoy it. There's the same people who think that like paying $5,000 a month for one room of a 2-bedroom apartment in New York is absolutely worth it. Like, hey, more power to you. I'm not here to tell you what's right and wrong. Just I know what's wrong for me.
Yeah, I think the most important things if you're meeting those kind of people is that you have to be in a state where you yourself are enjoying it.
Yeah.
Like to me, I used to enjoy those kinds of relationship a lot
Mm-hmm.
because I liked to be challenged,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also very, very exhausting
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, it is very much so.
because these people also you also get a whole new thing you have to watch out for, such as narcissism and all of these things that are very often mixed in with this type of people because of how their brain works, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, the 8-year relationship that I had before moving to Korea was just like that. It was highly intellectual, and it was within those circles, and it was that like the whole society and all of the elements, plus the weird narcissism and the fucking fart sniffing conversations and like all of it. It was the whole thing, and it was like there were some fun aspects to it, but mostly it was just fucking stupid. Anyway, let's move on.
Okay, when approaching a girl with high English fluency versus a girl with little English fluency, what are things? How are things different?
Just talk quicker, make more jokes like wordplay, use more
Yeah,
idioms, things like that. Uh, I mean, my speech patterns have I have intentionally dumbed them down a whole lot since living here because there's no point in trying to speak in a way that people won't understand, which goes back to the weird fucking intellectuals and stuff. But like I try to use words that you don't need to know the Latin or the Greek or the Germanic root to be able to understand what the word means. Because again, just like look, they learn textbook English. They learn things that are just in the book. They can have basic conversations if their English isn't that fluent. But then if it is, right, if they're native speakers or near native speakers, right, then okay, cool. So I can just go back into native speech and do that thing, which that's all. It just kind of speeds up. I make more jokes. I use some slightly more complex vocabulary and grammar structures, but not by that much.
yeah. I think also the thing like this is not in terms of dating, right? This is in terms of approaching a girl,
Yeah,
and I think whenever you approach a girl, if you're approaching in an English-speaking country, you assume they are English speakers, right?
yeah.
But if you go to a place like Korea, you would assume they speak English, but not that much. So you would
Mhm.
already have tailored your approach to the fact that they are not perfect English speakers. So I think there's nothing different. I don't think for me that the difference in how I would treat them on an approach differs anything depending on what how fluent they are in English. The only thing would be if they really, really suck, I would switch to Korean.
Yeah,
Uh, and it's first on the actual date that it would actually make a difference,
yeah,
because then that would kind of dictate a little bit more what topics we would talk about and how deep we would go into those topics, I guess.
absolutely.
You've been with me when we did the approaching weekend.
Oh,
I approached this girl. This was before my Korean was any good. And we approached this girl, and this Korean girl, super cute, didn't speak a word English. At least so she said. So what I did is I screamed over the parking lot to Jack to ask him what is the Korean word for free. Not that it went anywhere, but I didn't care.
yeah. Yeah. Where was that leading? Like the free was what? Like free beer?
Yeah, it was free beer.
Yeah. Free beer. Yeah. Perfect. Oh
So,
man.
I honestly don't think it makes a difference when approaching, unless you are in an English-speaking country. You should always assume that they are gonna fumble if you go into perfect fluent English.
Yeah. And the other side of things here is that even if you see somebody who's clearly a foreigner, like if you're approaching foreigners here in Korea, first of all, I don't know why, but if you are, uh, you kind of assume they're actually European, right? Like you'd probably be better off assuming that they are French or German or Spanish or something like that, and you'll be right more often than not. And so, still, you just walk up with like lower level English. Oh, this is an important thing, and I've mentioned this many times, but it's always worth re-mentioning. Whenever you're talking to somebody who doesn't speak native English, don't talk to them like you're an idiot, right? Don't. God, I've seen some fucking Americans, and like they're the worst about this, but they'll do stuff. They're like, me like, yeah, good, yeah. Like, don't do that. Don't talk to them like you're an idiot. That doesn't that does not help. That does not help them understand, and it just makes them think that you're a fucking moron, right? So don't do that. Just speak a little bit slower, not like word, not like that. Just speak a little bit slower. Use some basic vocabulary, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I think the most important thing you can do is like you have to emphasize the things that are important.
Yeah,
As long as and you should do that anyway when you talk to people. Like it's a lot easier for people to understand if you really emphasize on the important things.
yeah,
And you can emphasize both with the way you say it, but also with your body language.
yeah. I agree entirely. So yeah, doesn't really make any difference on the approach. Approach like you would in the country that you're in, regardless.
Yeah.
Next up.
Uh, what are the advantages you'll have as a foreigner approaching in countries like Korea that might not exist for you back in America or Europe? The first one that comes to mind is you stand out.
Yeah.
You are not the same as everyone else. I think in Korea today, if you include tourists at any point, it's going to be less than 1% of the population that are Caucasian.
Mm.
So you are already at already less than 1 in 100 in terms of that. And then so because of that, there are things that Koreans emphasize as beauty that is a very advantage to you. I'm going to take Caucasian as the example because I am Caucasian. And the first thing there is whiteness of your skin. That is a highly sought after, like Korean beauty trait.
Mm.
And since you are naturally white, then you get kind of an artificial higher beauty standard than you would normally back in your own country. And the second thing is that to them you are exotic, and that buys you points with some, and definitely don't buy you points with others.
Yeah.
But if you're in the right place, then all of them are open to foreigners anyway.
Yeah, I think those are some really good observations. And I think one of the other things is that Koreans or any country, honestly, like people know what constitutes weird behavior in their own country, their own culture, their own customs. And they're willing to let you do things that they would generally consider to be taboo in their culture because you are not from their culture. And that does provide you with a slightly higher level of immunity to things like you should Koreans would think that it's weird when going up to somebody they don't know to then shake hands immediately, right? That would be considered, it's not rude, but it would be awkward to them because they would normally just do that, oh yeah, yes, yeah, and just do that weird little neck bow thing. But because you are a foreigner, they're like, oh yeah, it's okay if he wants to shake hands. Like it's a normal thing for them, and yeah, we can do that. Like it's not weird for us. It's not bad. It's just different. So we're willing to accept a different standard for you. We're willing to bend more towards what you're used to or what is comfortable for you or something like that. And so you do get a little bit more leeway on things like that. You also won't get rejected out of hand quite as often. Now, if you're in a place like Hongdae or Itaewon, especially around like pick up a clock, right? You know, like you're out on the street in between Thursday party and corner pub at 12:30 at night on a Saturday night, right? Then if you approach some girls, they're gonna be like, "Oh, okay, cool. This is pick up a clock. We know what you're doing," and you might get rejected immediately, right? Which is fine, but they might give you more of a chance or more time to prove yourself if you approach on the street in any other circumstance, because they want to see what it is that you are that you're asking or that you're offering or whatever it is. Maybe you need help, or maybe you don't understand something and they want to be helpful. And so as a result, you're going to get a few more false positives than you otherwise would, but also you might have more opportunity to actually deliver your opening pitch than you would have otherwise had, which first of all gives you more experience points because you're doing the thing more. But second, you're going to get through to some people who may have rejected you out of hand otherwise, but because you did a good job with your approach, they're like, actually, yeah, do you know what? I do want to kind of hear what he has to say. So you do have some advantages. Now, of course, you have disadvantages as well, which is like, first of all, you don't speak the language. And even if you do, like, not that well. So you're going to be at a massive disadvantage there. There are, without a question, there are certain girls who, because you are a foreigner, they will be like, just nope, not even a thing. I do not want to English, or I do not like foreigners, or I whatever. Like, and that's fine. That is, of course, their prerogative to do. But that is an important thing to note as well. That like, just like anything in the world, short hair will attract some girls and will repel some girls. Long hair will attract some girls and repel some girls. Being a foreigner will attract some girls, will repel some girls. Same thing. So yeah, giveth with one hand, taketh with the other.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think as a foreigner, you are in the unique group that you get away with more, but you also, because you are a foreigner, there are limitations to, like, some people are going to straight up exclude you because you are a foreigner.
Yeah. There are going to be places that say you're not allowed to come in. There are going to be bars, there are going to be clubs, there are going to be restaurants, there are going to be cultural events, there are going to be all sorts of things that like, oh, no, you just can't come in. No foreigners allowed, right? Okay. It's like, that's also part of it, right? You will automatically lose anytime, like, if the police get involved for anything whatsoever. Even I've seen some pretty stupid shit, like where somebody was just giving someone else like a, hey buddy, come on, it's time to go, like a pat on the back, and that guy just decided to sue. And so when the police showed up, the police were like, yes, but you're a foreigner, so you automatically lose. Like you just owe money for no reason. And like, yeah, that's a pretty fucking massive disadvantage that there's no getting around. There again, you have advantages, you have disadvantages. Play to your advantages. Avoid situations that you're at a disadvantage.
Yeah, I think that's a good sum up of that.
Yep.
So the last question we have today is: in the modern day, would you rather have a 10 out of 10 Instagram or 10 out of 10 approaching skills? In both of these examples, your physique will stay the same. 100% 10 out of 10 approaching skills, any day, anytime.
Now, before we get into this, I just want to point out for you guys who are still with us in the live chat, this is our last question. So if you guys have any more questions, now is the time to type them in. And let's continue on. So go on, Paul. Why?
Yeah, I think 10 out of 10 Instagram would mean you spend too much time on thinking about worrying about what other people thinks about you, rather than 10 out of 10 approaching skills, which means you are sociable, you can go up to anyone in any situation. And 10 out of 10 approaching skills is, first of all, it's good for pickup and game, but that's not the only place it applies. It means I can go up to anyone at any business owner, at any networking event, and I can actually make friends and connections that are valuable more than just what an Instagram would give me. I think that's the reason why I would choose 10 out of 10 approaching skills anytime.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously, as a massive Instagram detractor myself, like despite the fact that I use it and it is literally my main source of business, I fucking hate Instagram. If I could nuke that and all social media, I would. Um, However, it is a terrific business tool. The the thing is that I'm going to choose approach skills every single time. Because, yeah, like Paul said, first of all, you can use it in all sorts of other things, in talking to people and making friends and all of that. But the other side of that is also just that, like, having a 10 out of 10 Instagram, who is that going to impress? Because the kind of people who would be very impressed by a really good Instagram are not actually the kind of people who I even want to be friends with, right? Like, I'm serious because, like, so imagine. So for either you or for the guy who was asking this question, imagine if you met me and 5 minutes later you went up and you just smooth as butter just approached a table of girls, got them laughing, had a good time, and then had like a little cheers together before walking off. How impressed am I going to be by that? Versus 5 minutes after meeting me, you're like, hey, you should check out my Instagram page, here it is, and then you hand it to me and it's like beautiful and perfectly curated, like you've just had the best manicure of your life, and I'm just sitting there looking at it like, what the fuck is this? Why are you showing me? I don't understand. Am I going to be impressed by that? Not even a little bit, right? I'm just going to be like, oh, okay, cool. I mean, like, you could have just told me that you were gay, but this also works. Like, what? Who? So this is something that I keep on bringing up, but who are you optimizing for? Who are you trying to attract with your thing? Because if you are trying to attract, very specifically, if you're trying to just attract Instagram models and that's it, like that is simply your only focus, is I want to stick my willy in as many Instagram models as I can possibly find, then yes, optimize your Instagram. That is your best bet, 100%. And not only that, but like pay money for the extra followers and for all the little server farms in India and Pakistan to like boost your engagement and always be commenting and all that stuff. Like, pay for that, because that is what you're optimizing for. And if that's the thing you're optimizing for, then go all in on it. But if you're optimizing for literally anything else, having the ability to carry on a conversation with strangers and be sociable and make friends and exchange pleasantries and not be a weirdo and get people to actually enjoy their time with you, that is a far more valuable skill than having a very beautiful piece of internet real estate.
I actually think so. A term or a condition in the question was that your physique doesn't change.
Mm.
If your goal is to put it in, stick your willy in as many Instagram models as possible, I still think the 10 out of 10 approaching skills is going to help you better unless you already are a 10 of a 10 in looks.
That's interesting. Well, okay.
Because whenever your approaching skills are 10 out of 10, okay, if you want to meet Instagram models, you just go where they hang out, right? You can still approach them as a
Yeah.
normal person, and then you might actually be better off because you don't seem like someone that cares about what they do.
Mm.
And because of that, you create that spike in emotions like up and down because they don't know what you're going to do next.
Yeah. No, like I was genuinely trying to make a steel man for using the social media profile, but I think you're right because even the exceptions that I can think of in my head, where it's like, okay, but like even he may not have a great physique, but like Jack Black's Instagram was the first thing that popped into my head, and then I was like, wait a minute, no matter how good Jack Black's Instagram is, his approach is so much better than his Instagram could ever be. So that's literally still the thing that would win every single time, is that even drop the Instagram, drop the fame, drop everything else, and just be like, right, Jack Black at fucking 55 or whatever he is at this point, and like full dad bod, full like gray beard, the whole thing, doesn't give a fuck. And he's still gonna fucking slaughterhouse in any club more than some twat walking around with his Instagram. Like, it wouldn't even be close. No, I like, even in the those extreme examples, I still think you're right. The 10 out of 10 approaching skills, it just wins every time. It really, really does. And I think that the other thing that guys don't really understand about how women think and feel and act and all of that is they know what a waste of time Instagram is. These girls who spend all their time on there and they have, tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of followers for just bullshit, right? Like, oh, here's me eating cereal with my tits kind of hanging out. Oh, here's me trying on this new sweater. Isn't it cute? But I'm not wearing any shorts. Like, you can see my panties and my butt. Like, they know exactly what it is, and they know what a waste of time it is. And like, yeah, they make a bit of cash from it, but they don't respect it. And a girl will respect you not having an Instagram or having just literally zero Instagram presence. Be like, oh, I have a handle. If you want, you can message me. I do not post on it. I don't use it. Like, I can use the messenger, and that's about it. She'll respect that more than she'll respect a try hard profile that doesn't really, again, have any value, doesn't really do anything. Um, and if you're using it for business or other things like that, like, it can be a slight bump, but I would never, as somebody who girls get impressed when they see my Instagram. And it's not like it's that big. It's not that impressive. I mean, that's what she said. Wah, wah, wah. But they still get impressed when they see it, and the bump that it gives me is not even close to worth it for the effort that it takes to get that little bitty bump. So don't, unless you are using Instagram for something else already, something that is completely unrelated to trying to impress women. It is not your friend. It is not beneficial to you. It does not add anything to your approach, even if it is a 10 out of 10 thing. Like, even if your Instagram is literally just you in the fucking Poconos, and then in the Keys, and then in Havana, and then in Bali, and then in like whatever else, and it's just, and it looks amazing, whatever else, it still doesn't do anything. It just starts the first conversation, which you can already do with approaching, and so much less effort.
I think even if your Instagram is 10 out of 10, you wouldn't get laid because whenever you actually meet, you're gonna fuck it up.
Yeah, I mean, like, of course, right? But like, I don't know. I really, really think that guys, they misunderstand so much of this stuff, right? Because it's the same with how guys think that, like, oh, girls are only attracted to money or muscles or cars or fame or whatever else, and it's not the case. They look at a person who is successful with women and they say, oh, he's successful because he has money. But actually, he has money because he's just successful, period. He has women because he's just successful, period. He could lose all his money tomorrow, end up being, being a homeless busker for a year, like I did, and like still just fucking clean up with women, because it was never about the money or the muscles or the status or the fame or any of that stuff. Those were the extras. Those were the accoutrement. Those were the fucking condiments. It's the ketchup on the hot dog. It's not the hot dog. You still need the hot dog. You can't look at the hot dog and say, people only eat the hot dog because there's ketchup on it. Why don't I have ketchup? Here, I got ketchup. Now, why doesn't anybody love me? Like, that's literally how I feel whenever guys say stupid shit like, forget women, just make money and the women will come. They no, you're wrong, because you're not understanding the actual cause and effect here. The same thing, why people think like, oh, well, if only my Instagram was better, if only I lost 10 pounds, if only I had a six-pack, then all the women would love me. And it's like, no, dude, I know guys who are personal trainers who are just like fucking ripped head to toe and couldn't get laid in a fucking whorehouse. Why? Because they're awkward as shit. And whenever girls meet them, they're like, look, it's nice body and everything, but like, I don't feel comfortable talking to you. That's way more important, right? It's never been about the money. It's never been about the muscles. It's never been about the fame. And the current thing that guys are focused on is, it's about height, or it's about having the best Instagram, or it's about having the best Tinder profile, or it's about having the best this or the best that, or the biggest dick, or the highest salary, or the fanciest car, or whatever else. And it's the same bullshit that guys have always thought it was, but it never was. It never was. And that's why those guys who think that always fail. And no matter how hard they try to chase down that fantasy, to chase down that dream, they never quite reach it, because it's just around the corner at the end of the fucking rainbow. But there is no end of the rainbow, because you were wrong the whole time. You're chasing a fucking dream that does not exist, when what you actually should have done is Learn how to have a conversation like this. Learn how to get a cross stuck in your head and be able to talk about it for 10 minutes straight, only pausing to take a breath here or there without ever saying the word or like or any of that crap, because then you can actually communicate what it is that you're saying. You can sound passionate, you can sound intelligent, you can actually say something that has meaning and value, and you can connect with another person emotionally. And when you're able to do that, it doesn't matter that you carry around a beer gut everywhere that you go, that you're balding, that you're not that tall, that you're not that fit, that you're not that handsome, that you're not that anything. Because what they actually want is they want you. They want to hear from you. They want your personality. They want what you bring to the table that's different from everybody else. Because muscles, money, fame, status, Instagram, cars, all that shit is all replaceable by literally anybody else who can just get enough money to do the thing. And getting money is not that fucking hard in the world. You can literally go out and take out a bank loan to rent a Ferrari for a day and be that guy. And do you know what it's going to do for you? Absolutely nothing. Because just like the Ferrari, you're replaceable. Instead, become irreplaceable. Become the person who she actually wants to spend her time with, who she cannot stand to be away from. And then it doesn't matter. Then you get to wear stupid hats. You get to wear fuzzy pink hats whenever you go out if you want. Doesn't matter. You get to wear a fucking shark on your head if you want when you go out. And you know what? People still want to hang out with me. Why? It's not because of the hats. It's in spite of the hats. It's not because of the belly. It's not because of the Instagram. It's not because of the shirt. It's not because of the business. It's in spite of all that stuff. It's because of who I am. And that's what they want.
Yeah, I think the reason why everyone gets so caught up in those kind of people, like the money, the height, all of those things, is that the stereotypical people that have a lot of success with women have those things, and they have it. They have success with women because they are confident in themselves, because they are experienced success in something else that matters to them.
Yeah.
It's not about the money. It's not about, actually, it's not even about the girls. It's just about yourself. Like the second you get comfortable with yourself and who you are and your own success, be it if you're learning a language and you're finally mastering it and you feel successful, that is enough to give you that sensation of success, which gives you the confidence to go be that successful person. And learning a language, you don't earn money for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, fuck. Use the game system that I made up for you today. Use that to literally give yourself confidence in, like, yes, I'm very good at talking to women. How do I know? Because I'm a level 27 seducer. I have been practicing and I have all my experience points and whatever else. Like, genuinely, I know that sounds fucking stupid and that sounds dorky as hell. So what? Use that to build your confidence. Use that to genuinely prove to yourself through a mountain of fucking evidence that you can do the approaches, that you can go on dates, that you can talk to people, that people want to be around you. Like, do those things. And you can do it with anything, right? Like, even if you look at somebody like Andrew Tate, you're like, okay, cool. What about Andrew Tate makes him successful with women? Is it the money? Is it the muscles? Is it the cars? Is it the cigars and the whiskey, whatever else? No. It's that he's a kickboxer. It's not specifically that he's a kickboxer. It's that he was a master of one very specific thing that he was very passionate about, that he was very good at. And that confidence and that mastery leverages into other things. That's what it is. Now, on top of that, he is also extraordinarily charismatic, right? So he has the passion, he has the success, the confidence, plus he has the physique, because again, kickboxer, right? Like, it's going to be really good for your body, right? And then you add on to that the fact that he is a master at language and at charisma, and you're like, yeah, of course he's successful at all of these things. But it's not because he's a kickboxer. It's not because he's rich. It's not because he smokes cigars. It's not because he wears this brand of clothes. Those are all the byproducts of the passion, of the drive, of the the caring about something and going all in and doing a good job at it and getting the confidence.
Yeah.
That was a really, really long answer to something I thought we were done answering, but I got a little bit pissed off about it there.
I think it's a very good thing. I think it's a very big misconception that a lot of people have that social media actually matters.
Mm.
I can tell you from my 3 past relationships, for all you other guys there, is when the moment where my girlfriend thought I was the most sexy and the most handsome was when I was doing my thing.
Mm.
When I'm working, when I'm doing the things that I am already successful at. Because the confidence that I see, then it gives that emotion for them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is 100% true. Like, whenever I walk out of the room after a successful sales call where we've onboarded another guy, like, I can walk out just like in my undershirt and boxers because this room gets hot as shit. And I just walk out in my undershirt and boxers. And I got the big dick walk. I'm like, yeah. And she gets like, she's like, oh my God, you made another one. Yeah, hell yeah, yeah, yeah. And like, she gets really into it, right? And it's exactly that thing. And it's not because, like, trust me, like the undershirt and boxers is not a great look. It's really not. But that's not it. It's the confidence and the I am successful at a thing that matters to me. And it could be literally anything, right? It could be that, like, I just fucking nailed a guitar lick that I've been working on for 2 weeks. But you walk out the room with that level of confidence and that big dick walk, and you're like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And she's into it, right? That's actually what it is that matters, is all of the confidence and the doing things that you care about and getting good at anything. Except for video games. That one will never work. And I'm a big fan of video games. Like, this is not a secret, right? I'm pretty dorky. But she will never be attracted to you for having succeeded at something very difficult in a video game, no matter what. And, like, there's no amount of explaining it. Like, whenever I got the platinum trophy for Elden Ring, my wife was not happy or proud. She was just like, good, I'm glad you're going to finally stop yelling at the TV. Like, that was literally it. It was relief, right? So it's not, video games are the one exception to this. So don't try to be like, I finally hit diamond in LOL. Like, it's going to be like, you need to pack your shit. Anyway, I think that's actually a good place for us to go ahead and wrap this up. We've definitely gone on a tangent, and I'm certain we've lost all of our viewers. If somehow anybody has made it this far and made it through all of my stupid, angry monologue rant and all that shit, then first of all, you're a better man than I, and more power to you. If I could, I would give you a great big like button right now. But since I can't, I will ask that you give me one instead. And it can be a kind of parasocial like, where you will hit the button, but it will feel like it's coming from me. That would help a whole lot. I really do appreciate it. But if you've made it this far, you've probably already done it. You've probably already subscribed, and you're probably just passed out drunk on your sofa from the Cheers with Chaps. However, I still appreciate you being here. You're a true hero for making it this far. Paul, special thank you to you for joining tonight. Really appreciate it, as always. A ton of fun. And quick bit of housekeeping. Not next week, but 2 weeks from now, we will either have to reschedule the live stream or cancel it. I will know what we're going to do by next week. However, there is, even though I never, ever, ever miss a live stream, 2 weeks from today is the birth of my daughter, and we're gonna not have the live stream on that day. So I will figure out what we're going to do, if we're going to just cancel it that week or move it to a different day. And I'll let you guys know next week. But until then, play on.